What's up, everybody? So Coach Danny here. So today I want to talk about something super important. Everyone asks me how to properly warm up before training sessions. When I talk about training sessions, that could be prior to doing some strength and conditioning, some functional fitness, some Muay Thai training, Jiu-Jitsu training, whatever type of training you're into, but you got to make sure you properly warm up. And when I talk about warming up, that's far from the old days of static stretching. We got to use movements to warm up and movements that are functional. So the main idea is to increase blood flow and send blood to every muscle group and get our body ready and warm for the up and coming training session. So we're going to use some movement prep today. I'm going to show you guys 10 exercises that I like to do before every functional training session, and we're starting right now. So here we go, guys. If you had any experience in sports or training, you've probably done some stretching. We're told from a very young age that we need to stretch in order to prevent injury, and that's very true, but stretching is viewed as a precursor to working out. So here's the deal. I like to replace pre-workout static stretching with movement preparation. It's a series of exercises that you'll see in this video. They're essential, and they should be in any routine. So nothing else provides so much value in so little time when I talk about movement prep. And as the term suggests, it prepares the body for functional movements. Whether you're into martial arts training, functional fitness, the movement prep routine is a surefire way to get you started. It boosts heart rate, blood flow to the muscles, core temperature, you name it. It also improves the function of the nervous system, which is super important in athletic activity. Think of movement prep routines as taking a few minutes to warm up a car that has been sitting outside in cold temperatures all night. If you go through all these exercises, it'll take you only 10-15 minutes max, and it's super effective. Basically, I want to show you guys a process of lengthening your muscles known as the active elongation. But then comes the crucial difference. After you stretch the muscle to this new range of motion, you also contract the muscle. So as you can see here in some of the exercises that I'm demonstrating, you're actually stretching, also flexing or contracting from your toes all the way up into your trapezius muscles. That will improve posture and performance and decrease the potential for injury. Secondly, most important, I think, is it activates these little muscles, all the stabilizers, throwing on the light switches so they're available and participating at all time. So as you can see here in our first movement, this is called a hip crossover. So the objective, it's to build mobility and strength in your torso by disassociating your hips and your shoulders. So basically you just lie on the floor, as you can see here, your arms and shoulders are extended out at your sides, your feet can stay flat or you can also elevate them from the floor. Twist your bent legs to the right and then to the left. And you'll keep doing this for a matter of 6 to 10 repetitions on each sides. Make sure to keep your abs drawn in and your shoulders, torso, and feet in contact with the ground. You can also progress to this movement right here. This one here, you'll just keep your knees bent at a 90-degree angle, but your feet will raise off the floor. Okay, and then this last progression is you'll do the same motion, but this time with your legs outstretched. And this is probably the more advanced technique, and you'll want to progress from level 1, 2, and 3 before you switch over. In this next movement right here, I'm actually showing what I like to call the scorpion. So you're lying flat onto your stomach. And to lengthen and strengthen the muscles of your core, you'll actually bring one leg all across backwards, and then you'll do the same thing on the right side. So this will stretch your chest, your quadriceps, you'll feel it in your hips, your abdominal muscles, and it'll also activate your glutes. You should feel it in your quads, your hip flexors, along with the activation of your glutes. Okay, in this next exercise, this is called a calf stretch. So this is to increase flexibility in this often neglected area. So you're starting into a push-up position, but you're raising your hips towards the ceiling. Your weight should be on the ball of your foot. And here, you'll pull your right toes upward toward your shin while you push with your right heel downwards toward the ground on your left foot. Make sure to breathe, hold for a 1 count, then raise your right heel again and repeat. You'll want to do the same thing on the opposite side. and you'll also feel it into your shoulders as you stabilize your core. Mainly, you'll feel a stretch in your calf and ankle. Bend the knee on your working leg to shift the emphasis to the Achilles tendon. And repeat once again for 6 to 10 repetitions. All right, this next one is also known as the world's second greatest stretch. It's called the hand walk, or sometimes we like to refer to it as the inchworm. This objective is to build stability in your shoulders and core, and it's also to lengthen your hamstrings, calves, and lower back muscles. And the procedure is keeping your legs straight and belly button drawn in as you walk your hands out. Still keeping your legs straight, walk your feet back up to your hands. A couple of coaching keys here is use small and short little steps, both with your feet and then with your hands, okay? The slower the better. Take baby steps. You should feel it in your hamstrings, lower back, glutes. You'll also feel a stretch in your calves. Okay, so in this next exercise, I like to refer to this as the inverted hamstring stretch. This is to improve hamstring flexibility and balance along with dynamic pillar stabilization. This one from myself is very difficult to do, but it's really good because I've had a lot of ankle injuries, and this helps me stabilize my ankles and helps blood flow into my calves and shins. So you'll want to balance on one foot with perfect posture. So that means your tummy tight, shoulders back and down as you lean forward. So bending at the waist and maintaining perfect posture. Lean towards the front and imagine that your upper torso will actually be leveled with the ground. Okay, keep your arms outstretched, and the hard part is to maintain stabilization onto that supporting leg. And you should feel a nice stretch in your hamstring and working the core strength as you stabilize those ankles. Next up, I have the lateral lunge. This exercise is not easy for everyone. Everyone knows how to do frontal lunges, but the lateral lunges are much more difficult as they increase stretch in your groin and your hips, as well as the adductor muscles. Okay, so to open up the muscles of your groin and hips, use this exercise for pillar strength as you sit back and down onto your heel. One important thing is to maintain a flat foot on every repetition with good posture. So here I step out to the right, try to keep my toes pointed straight, a head and foot flat. I squat by sitting back down onto my right leg, keeping my left leg straight and outstretched, and then I push back up. It's almost like doing a single-legged squat. Once again, do 6 to 10 repetitions of this. You should really feel it stretching inside your thighs. All right, next up. This is the world's greatest stretch. This is what it's referred to in most functional fitness courses. It's called the forward lunge with a forearm to instep. So this exercise will improve flexibility in your hips, really challenge the lower back, torso, groin, hip flexors, quadriceps, even your hamstrings. So you'll take a large step forward as you lunge with your leg, place and support your weight onto your hands, and then imagine you want to reach your elbow touching the ground, which you probably won't, as you can see here, but that will really stretch even the psoas muscles in your quadriceps. Once again, do 6 to 10 repetitions on each leg. A couple of coaching keys: keep your back knee off the ground. Exhale as you reach your elbow to the floor. At the end, make sure both hands remain in contact with the ground. Once you raise up, make sure to pull your hips and your feet to stretch your calf muscles before returning to another rep. This one here is the backward lunges. A lot of people like to do the forward lunge, but the backward lunge will require a lot more focus and balance. And here, as you can see, I'm adding a twist. This will lengthen your hip flexors, your quadriceps, and your core. This stretches everything from your big toes to your hands, basically. So your feet together, step back, one leg back into a lunge. And as you can see here, I'm trying to reach to the side where my knee is bent and not to the side where my knee is extended behind me. And then you'll repeat the procedure on the opposite side. Once again, 6 to 10 repetitions on each side. You should really feel this one on the back leg through your core and lats, and a stretch of your hip flexors as well. This next exercise is really good for your quadriceps and your hips as well. It's called a drop lunge. So the objective of this one is to improve flexibility in your hips, glutes, and IT bands. Those are the thick bands of tissue in either leg that extend from the thigh down over the outside of your knee. They actually attach to your tibialis. That's the larger lower leg bone. So you want to stay balanced throughout this exercise. Basically take a step across and do a single-legged squat without touching your back knee to the ground, and stand back up into a starting position. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Keep your balance, and you'll really feel this one burning in the outside of your glutes as well as the outside of your quadriceps. All right, so here we go. This last exercise, it's the sumo squat to stand. So the objective here is to improve flexibility in your hamstrings, groin, ankles, and your lower back. Okay, you'll even feel it in your hips. So you want to stand tall with your feet outside your hips into a sumo stance. And the procedure will be to bend at the waist, grabbing up on your big toes. So basically you're just grabbing under the big toes, keeping your arms straight and inside your knees. Pull your hips down until they're between your ankles and lift your chest up. Then tuck your chin and try to straighten your legs, holding onto your toe, and straighten out your hips and knees. Okay, this will really challenge your flexibility. Then you stand back up into stretching your hamstrings and hold on to the toes as you raise up, and then start another repetition. You'll really feel this stretch in your groin, glutes, lower back, and to a lesser degree, even your ankles. All right, guys, so thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this serves a purpose for you for your next training session. For some of you, this won't only be a warm-up. For some of you guys who are just starting out in workouts, this might be the workout in itself, and that's totally fine. Make sure you do 6 to 10 repetitions of every movement shown in this video. Also, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Give this video a big thumbs up. Smash that subscribe button if that's what you're into. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.